Big thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Y'all know that we've always got a lot going on between the shop, these car projects, the homestead, and family life, and starting the day off right makes all the difference. I've been drinking AG1 in the mornings, just one scoop with some cold water, and it makes it simple to get in 75 plus vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food source nutrition without keeping up with a dozen different bottles. It's become part of my daily routine. And what I love about the AG1 Next Gen is it's clinically backed. It's NSF certified for sports, which means that it's tested for quality and safety, and it's clinically shown to fill common nutrient gaps. Plus, it's flexible. You can adjust or pause your subscription at any time. Plus, they came out with some different flavors to try. They've got berry, tropical, and citrus. So y'all make sure to try those too. So if you want to try AG1, head to drinkag1.com/Cajun Country Clunkers or scan the QR code on the screen. You'll get a free welcome kit with 5 AG1 travel packs and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2. Thanks again, AG1, for supporting Cajun Country Clunkers, and back to our project.
Well, hey y'all, good morning. It is time to grind and shine once again. Now, we've been putting in some really late nights and some early mornings trying to keep old Lois shoved towards that finish line. And even though I'm pleased with the progress that we're making, we're still a long ways from getting to that finish line. Now, we have a lot of things that's right on the cusp of being done, and we have a lot that we're just beginning. Now, one of the things that we're going to be starting in the middle of all these other projects that we have going on is I have to get started on this bodywork. I've got to start sanding. I got to get this thing ready for paint. We don't have but a day or so left, so the paint's going to have to cure on the way up there. Now look, this isn't going to be one of those paint jobs to where when you walk by it, you're afraid you're going to slip off of it because it's so slick. Now we're going to make it a color. It's going to be like, this is my vision. When the neighbors see you pulling out of the driveway, they're going to be like, hey, look at that car. And then when they get up close to it and they look at it, they're going to be thinking, man, somebody needs to go to the eye doctor. But regardless, that's what we're going to be doing in the midst of all this other stuff, trying to get Lois across this finish line. It all has to be done. Y'all keep hanging in there with us. Keep giving us encouragement. Believe me, it helps. Every comment we read, they're like, you know, y'all are crazy, but we think y'all are going to get it done. It puts a huge smile on our face, pep in our step, and helps us recharge our batteries to keep pushing through so we can make this deadline. Now, there's a lot of things on this old car that really works against us. A lot of them is just small things that you wouldn't normally think about though. You know, we don't have a completed shop. And look, this is wet, but that's from the dew. So I can't get out here and start sanding on this till it dries. I did get a leaf blower and try to blow some of the water off, but this has to be dry before I start sanding on it because I'm going to be making a mess. I'm not wet sanding. I got to cut this down because we have bare metal here. We have burn through here. We have chemical goop residue, whatever you want to call that in some areas. But this has to be flat. This is a good flat surface. And whenever you walk up to this car, this is going to be one of those things that you're going to be paying attention to. The little hidden areas in the quarter panels, if you've got a little bobo like that, you're not going to see it as much as a big, pretty flat panel. So we got to spend the time. We got to get this at a pretty flat state. And I'll have to say, we got a long way to go.
Well, y'all, in the last video, Jim started to put a lot of this ACES fuel injection system in, and the time has finally come. The system is fully in place, and it's kind of going to be our make it or break it time, don't you think?
This is about as milestone as a milestone can get. because this stuff either is going to work or it is not, and Lois will be sitting right here. So we don't have the CPU mounted yet, and we do have kind of a cluster going on with this wiring system, but it is all functioning because I put power to it. I went through the setup wizard in the program. I've entered all the information in, and the only thing left to do is to see if it's actually going to start, run, all that stuff. We wanted to make sure that we brought y'all along for that. That way, you can watch our epic success or our epic fail. Whichever way, it's a flip of the coin. If everything that they say is true about this system, if the setup is right, if my timing is right, there's a lot of things that's got to be right, okay? But I think we've got it. I think we're close. Now look, y'all don't start throwing rocks at us if this thing starts up and it don't start up really smooth, because this is an adaptive system and it takes a little while for it to learn the engine and start really fine-tuning and tweaking these things. And it should just get smoother and smoother if it all works and we have everything installed properly. That's $1 million question. And that's what we're going to get into right now. Y'all come on and check it out. Well, here's the car just laying up here, all willy-nilly, crazy like. Don't pay any attention to this different colored wire here. We had to rob one off of Frankie because the wires that came with this, the coil wire, I don't know what, I don't even know. I have no clue what it went to, but it wasn't this. I'll put it that way. We got our CPU just sitting here, laying around. It's all willy-nilly too. Now, at first I was not going to use this terminal block, but after looking into it and actually reading some of the directions, this has the internal relays and everything built in with it, which is the reason they sent it. Makes perfect sense. So I elected to go ahead and wire this thing in. Glad I did. It's going to look nice whenever we don't have this spaghetti bowl of wiring going on. And the reason that I wasn't planning on using this is because we really didn't have very many wires to connect, mostly powers and negatives. But a couple of these relays in here are actually fired and actuated by a negative signal. That's MRD wires right here. So we had to hook them up so the ground could actually trigger the relays and send whatever message it needed to send to whatever microchip or, I don't know, wherever it goes, cloud, who knows. But anyway, that is the reason we decided to go ahead and wire this in. It was a smart, right, and really operable thing to do. Now here we have the handheld just laying here also. We have it plugged in. Everything is a good to go. It's not where it's going to live, but it's up here where we can watch it. It's up here where the action is, in the thick of it. You know what I mean? I just hope the fan doesn't grab a wire and sling it out through there. But if that doesn't happen, we ought to be okay.
Hey, I also want to comment that you haven't said anything about my nice spray can job to that hood. Look at that.
Well, you know, it looked pretty good until the dust storm and then the cats decided to do a little turntabling up here. Okay, I think all that'll buff out.
Yeah, I just got to wipe that off. But it looks a lot better, doesn't it?
I think it looks 1,000,000 times better. It's amazing what $6 can do. Now, this is how I have everything temporarily wired together. As you can tell, I have no ring terminals or anything else. But hey, what a cool battery. Allpond gifted us this battery. I mean, check it out. It's got a handle. It is super light, and it is really strong. But the one thing that I really, really like about this is because it has posts and it has tapped post where you can pick right on top of the battery cables. You don't have to worry about going to the side. Everything is right here on top and makes it super convenient. Hey, y'all, this is really cool. So I'm going to ask Lydia if she will put this in the description. That way y'all can follow the link in case you want to find one, get one for yourself. Okay, so we don't have the dash in this car, so we don't have a key. So we had to interpret or kind of build our own ignition system. So we got a hot wire running from the positive post on the battery, and this would represent the other side of the power. So we would turn the key on and it would allow the power to go through. We don't have that, so we're just going to do a little twist and wrap, you know?
I think they call that hot wiring.
It could be.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you learn that at?
Can't tell all my secrets.
Okay, wait, is this the moment of truth?
No, this is not the moment of truth. This is just going to give power to the system. Yeah, I have another little trick up my sleeve as far as the actual turning over the car and starting it. I don't know why I come up with this stuff, but it works. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, we just fired. It seems like on the screen everything is almost identical to when we put power to it yesterday just to turn it on to see if the screen would come up. Everything looks good. You know, we have ambient temperature, voltage on the battery, of course 0 RPMs because we're not running. So everything really looks like it's ready to lift off. So if y'all are anything like me and y'all enjoy watching a good mechanic show, whether it be on anything, any network, they always have these little nice, neat little trigger buttons to start with when they have to bypass something. Yeah, we don't have one of those. So this is what we're going to use. It's going to work, trust me. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to hook this up to the positive lead on the battery, and I'm going to bypass the starting solenoid and go straight to the wire that picks up on the starter motor. Here it goes. That is not bad. It's a little bit rough, but it's got to go through the sequence of learning everything. The advance is hanging in there about where it ought to be. So we got that pretty close.
So what kind of number are you looking for on there?
Well, I have the RPM set to, I think, around 850. So when the motor gets up to temperature, this should cut back. Not sure what that noise is. But everything looks like it's tracking. I'm going to have to go back in and check the height position and make sure the map's around in range. I think it's around 5, so it should be pretty close, but we'll double check all that, make sure we don't need to tweak any of those things. Sure seems like it's leveling out. Got to think too, this car has been sitting up since like 1984, and we only really ran it to the end of the driveway and back and moved it right around the shop. So it's going to take a little while for everything to come back around, but I would say it's smoothing out pretty good already. But it just needs some time running and circulating and heating up. Woo, salty. Big block ready to go. Well, it's only run for just a few minutes. You can see this number's already starting to get down into the 800. We have it set at 850, but here's the engine temperature. That's 163. Got to get up to around 190 or so, and that's the equilibrium for the running temperature. So here's a good indication that all of your fuel ratios are where they should be. And that's one thing I really wanted with this fuel injection. The driver's side, this thing has true dual exhaust all the way back. And the driver's side always had a little puff of fuel smoke. I mean, you could see it just pumping out. All that's gone away. Good clean exhaust. That's what we was after.
Jim's mom just texted me and said, would y'all like a nice hot biscuit? If so, I'll bring you one. Your mom is so good to us.
I know. Mom coming in clutch.